Before we start tonight, I need an old file. Case File 3, Boston, 1920. Charles Ponzi. Postal reply coupons, 50% in 45 days, a line around the block. We closed that board 100 years ago. So why is it back on my desk? Because 100 years later, somebody rebuilt the same machine. Same gears, same promises, new fuel. Ponzi sold postal coupons. These guys sold cryptocurrency mining rigs. Rigs that never existed. Not one machine, not one coin. Ever. And here's what makes tonight different. There's no lone genius on this board. No mastermind in a corner office. This time the board fills up with faces. A founder, a CEO, a salesman, a programmer, a restaurant owner. 5 federal sentences, 2024 to 2025. We're going to count them together, one stamp at a time. This is Case File 6, IcomTech. Middle of 2018, Queens, New York. A man named David Carmona founds a company called IcomTech, and the pitch is beautiful in its simplicity. We mine cryptocurrency. We trade cryptocurrency. You buy a package and the profits land in your account every single day. Guaranteed daily returns. Double your money in 6 months. Regulators later put the advertised numbers at up to 2.8% a day. A day. Run that through a calculator and the whole world's money ends up in your account by Christmas. Nobody ran the calculator. Now, the machine room, the racks of humming computers somewhere digging digital gold out of the math. Here's the entire audit of IcomTech's mining operation. There wasn't one. No rigs. No trading desk. No revenue. From the first day to the last, the Justice Department found no mining and no trading at all. Money came in from new believers, and a slice of it went back out to the old ones. That's the whole business model. Ponzi would have recognized it through the window of a moving train. But you don't sell an empty room, you sell a party. IcomTech promoters crossed the United States and went abroad, throwing lavish expos and little community meetings, including right here in the Southern District of New York. They rolled up in expensive cars, they wore designer clothes, they stood on stage, boasted about their own earnings, and preached financial freedom. The atmosphere, in the Justice Department's own words, was festive, designed to generate excitement. And who was in the seats? Working-class families, largely Spanish-speaking, pitched in their own language by people from their own world, a cousin, a neighbor, the guy who owns the restaurant where your daughter had her quinceañera. That's the cruelest gear in this machine. It didn't run on greed so much as on trust. People handed over cash, checks, wire transfers, real cryptocurrency for the fake kind. 1920, a crowded office on School Street, Boston. 2018, a ballroom with a sports car on the stage. Same photograph partner. Somebody just turned up the lighting. Time for the first stamp. Marco Ruiz Ochoa, IcomTech's CEO. The title on the business card until they replaced him in 2019. Convicted of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, pleaded guilty in 2023. In January 2024, a federal judge gave him 5 years and took back $914,000. And that's one. Keep counting. Let me show you the heart of the machine. Not the ballroom, the bedroom. 2 in the morning, lights off, a phone glowing on the nightstand. You open the IcomTech portal and there it is. Your balance. Bigger than yesterday, bigger every day. Numbers climbing like a heartbeat on a monitor. Families watched those numbers instead of sleeping. Some quit second jobs. Some borrowed from relatives to buy bigger packages because the dashboard said it was working. The dashboard was a stage prop. Behind it sat a programmer named Gustavo Rodriguez, who built and ran IcomTech's website and portal. And here's the detail that should make your fur stand up. Prosecutors say Rodriguez advised Carmona on where to set the daily returns. Set. Your profit wasn't a market result. It was a dial. Two men picked a number that felt believable, and the software typed it into 10,000 bedrooms, and the moment anyone reached for the money, the machine showed its teeth. By August 2018, months in, withdrawals were already hitting excuses, delays, hidden fees. Think about that timing. The party was just getting started, the expos were still booking venues, and the vault was already empty. So they did what every drowning Ponzi does. They invented new money. A proprietary token called the IcomTech. Buy it now, they said. It'll be worth a fortune once stores accept it. Nobody accepted it, nowhere. The Justice Department's verdict on the IcomTech is one word long: worthless. And notice what didn't stop: the selling. Withdrawals frozen, complaints piling up, and the expos kept booking stages because the commission still paid. People ask me whether the promoters were victims too. Hold that question. The answer is coming, and it's wearing handcuffs. By the end of 2019, the music stopped, payments quit, phones went silent, IcomTech collapsed, and tens of thousands of people, the government says tens of millions of dollars, were left staring at dashboards full of numbers that had never been real. Stamp number 2, the founder himself. David Carmona, the man who built the machine, arrested in Queens in November 2022, convicted of conspiracy to commit wire fraud after pleading guilty in 2023. October 2024, 121 months in federal prison, 10 years and a month. The prosecutor's summary fits on a sticky note. In reality, IcomTech was doing no such thing. It was all a lie. 2. Keep counting. Here's what a collapsed Ponzi looks like from the sidewalk. Locked doors, a support inbox that stopped answering in 3 languages, families comparing screenshots of balances, some in 6 figures, that no bank on earth would honor, and a question that hangs over every case like this one. The men on the stage, in the rented spotlight, did they really not know? In March 2024, 12 jurors in Manhattan answered that question. 2 defendants insisted on a trial. They got 2 weeks of one. David Brend, the salesman. The face at the expos, the handshake, the testimonial. While victims begged for withdrawals, Brend pulled hundreds of thousands of dollars of their money out the back door, convicted of conspiracy to commit wire fraud by a unanimous jury in 2024. Sentence: 10 years. Gustavo Rodriguez, the builder. The man behind the dashboard and the dial. His defense was essentially, I just wrote the code. The jury didn't buy it, and neither did the judge. Convicted of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in 2024. Sentence: 8 years. 3, 4, 1 more. Magdaleno Mendoza, the senior promoter out in Los Angeles. He recruited Spanish-speaking victims with no investment experience, hosted pitch nights at his own restaurant, and collected the cash in person. Hundreds of thousands of it stuck to his hands. When IcomTech died, he didn't retire. Prosecutors say he moved on and promoted 3 more crypto Ponzi schemes. Convicted of conspiracy to commit wire fraud after pleading guilty in 2025. December 2025, 71 months in prison, $789,000 in restitution, $1.5 million forfeited, including a house in Downey, California, bought with his neighbor's trust. 5 federal sentences in 2 years, a founder, a CEO, a salesman, a programmer, a restaurant owner, and I'll be straight with you, partner. There are more names in this case file whose court papers are sealed. I can't read you what I can't see. What I can tell you is that this board earned every stamp on it. Now, the question every victim asks, does the money come back? Some. Courts ordered restitution and clawed back what they could find. The forfeitures, the house in Downey, civil penalties on top. But recovered dollars are always a fraction of dreamed ones. Nobody's dashboard balance is getting honored. So what's the moral of Case File 6? 100 years ago, one clever man in Boston nearly broke a city with a story about postal coupons. Everybody remembers his name, and the scam is literally named after him. But look at this board. IcomTech didn't have a genius. It didn't need one. A Ponzi scheme doesn't run on brilliance. It runs on a room full of salesmen and a crowd that trusts them. The machine is 100 years old, and it starts every single time, as long as somebody you love vouches for the driver. So the checklist is short tonight. Guaranteed daily returns. That phrase alone closes the case. A dashboard is a picture of money, not money. If you can't withdraw it, you don't have it. And the man on stage with the rented car, ask him one question: can I see the mine? Because there was no mine. There never is. This board's done. But the next folder on my desk is heavy, 100 years old and still radioactive. A man who owned almost every match on Earth lent money to entire nations, and whose $250 million in assets simply did not exist. Case File 7 is already open. Subscribe, partner. You'll want to see this one by Matchlight.